Alright guys, Mike McKittrick here from Second Row Pro Shop in Adrian, Michigan at Lenawee Rec. We're going to talk today about surfacing pads. Why should we use them? Why shouldn't we? FYI, there is no reason why we shouldn't. There's a couple different brands of surface pads out there. I'm just going to talk about two today because I have only two kinds in the shop. We have the red Abralon pads. This was the main source of surfacing pads for many years until, in my opinion, a better, more superior brand came along, and they are CTD, creating the difference, operated by Ronald Hicklin. He took the bowling world by storm. No pun intended there. And he has put out so much useful knowledge about the sport of bowling and surface. And he's done many videos. I will definitely put a link down in the description to their channel and whatnot. Pretty much, the reason I still have one of these around because I don't use them anymore. So, with that being said, these are the only ones I use. They come, for consumers, they come in 500, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 3,000, and the P5000D, which by hand does 4,000 grit, and on the ball spinner wet does 5,000 grit. And man, you can tell the difference with the P5000D. I've got a couple different bowling balls here. I got an old High Road Nano, and I have a Hammer Ripped. Some balls that we fully plugged for sale here in the shop. I'm gonna go ahead and demonstrate the proper way to surface. Basically, it doesn't matter. I shouldn't say it doesn't matter. When deciding what grit to use, there's a lot of misconception on, 500 is more hook, 1,500 is not as much hook. It's not necessarily true. You got to think of it as in where you and how you read the lane. The lane is 60 feet long. It's a lot longer than it is left and right or right and left, depending on whether you're right or left-handed. So with 500 grit, the more surface you put on the bowling ball, the sooner the ball is going to start reading the lane. Now in turn, us competitive bowlers, the people who have been in the sport for a long time and understand that you read the lanes front to back, back to front, more so than right and left. There are times you need to read the lanes right and left, or left and right. But 9 times out of 10, maybe even 99 times out of 100, you need to get the ball either further down the lane or get the ball reading the lane sooner. 500 is going to get you reading the lanes very early. More than likely before the end of the pattern, depending on what pattern you're bowling on. House shot, definitely not a lot of oil on a house shot. Especially if you go to the bigger cities. I've noticed Metro Detroit, Lansing. I've noticed that they wall it a lot. Toledo, Ohio. They wall their shots a lot of oil in the middle, not much on the outside. That's where you can, for you right-handers, you can stand left, throw the ball right, throw that big bender, and it looks awesome. And that's what they want because that drives high scores. So not necessarily you don't want the ball to read early then, because if you get the ball outside on one of those patterns early and you got 500 surface on it, that ball's going to take off real quick. So in a sense, I'm just going to, for demonstration purposes, I'm going to put 500 on the High Road, and I'm just going to put 1,500 on the Ripped. And then we will clean it with our Creating the Difference wow factor. There are other cleaners out there which in turn, this one's from Genesis, and I no longer use these ones either. I have found that the wow factor from creating the difference is so much better. So much better. In fact, all of the cleaning solutions. In fact, I have to fill this one back up. I have a gallon just waiting. So, creating the difference is definitely the way to go, in my personal and professional opinion, in the sport of bowling. So, with that being said, we're going to take our 500 grit pad. I'm going to slide the ripped out of the way. 500 grit pad, you're going to go in small circles. Small circles. And you can probably see the difference already. I'm going to go ahead and pick this up. There's the previous side. There's the sanded side so far. Now, according to USBC rules, you need to sand the entire ball evenly. I don't know if evenly is the word they use in the rule book, but this is what you do. Nice small circles. Ball spinner is always easier, but this is for those of you that do not have a ball spinner at home or don't take one with you to big tournaments if you are traveling. Some of you have. They put them in the totes, storage totes that you can get from Walmart. And they put their ball spinner in there. So, that being said, now we have this completely, you can see the dust collecting underneath the surface, which is why the pads keep on cutting. That's why I like these better. These are awesome. Tap it, hit it on the bottom, or hit bottom side down on the counter. Most of the dust particles are gone. I find that I can cut a lot of bowling balls dry sanded a lot at tournaments. Now with that being said, we're going to spray. Wipe it off with our CTD power pad. This ball looks amazing now. This ball is now have 500 surface all the way around the ball. Completely cleaned up with the wow factor. Now we will use the ripped, and I will use the 1500 pad now. We'll do a little comparison. You can see the difference. Same thing. Put in your hand, little circles all the way around the ball. This ball's a little harder to tell where you've surfaced because of the coloring, the gold. And you don't need a lot of pressure. You don't need to put the elbow grease in it. You don't. Same thing. Build up. Hit it on the counter, upside down, or face down, I should say. Get that dust, most of it back out. Not all of it, but most of it. And you can tell it's not as dusty, scuffed up, sanded as the 500 when we did it. Let's clean this up. And remember guys, that even though you cannot clean your bowling balls during competition anymore, per USBC rules, you can do it before and after, no problem. Now, you can clearly see that this one is not as sanded as that one. Definitely a clear, distinctive difference. Now, surface-wise, basically many studies have been done, especially by Mr. Ron Hicklin, that surfaces, 80%, I believe it was 80%, of what dictates of how the ball motion is on the lanes. Might be a little less than 80%. Now that I think about it, I think it was 50%, 50 to 60%. Drawing a blank on the numbers, but I will link that video so that you guys can see it. So now you can understand why you would be able to, or why you should use different surfaces on these bowling balls, and get you to get and find the different reactions that you would get on the lanes that you would need. And hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys later. See ya.